Back again for another video. This time I am with Aka. I said that I would give you guys this video last week. I know, but life, that's how it goes. But anyways, we're here. Say hello.
Hello.
Why are you talking all low?
Hello.
All right. So we're going to talk about a few topics. One of the topics is going to be about the authority, how she sees it, her perspective of it, in regards to men and women, and other aspects as well. We're going to talk about women, of course, and her perspective on how she sees women with authority and who they should be submitting to, etc., and what they submit to, her perspective of it. Kind of a recap of the videos that I've been doing as of late, and in the lens of her perspective. So, what's up?
Oh, me. Okay. I'll get that lost real quick. Okay, so authority. I do believe with my spiritual beliefs, the role of who is really has the authority. I see what the video you had, and it was okay. I liked it. Number one fan here. But I kind of wanted you to go more deeper into it.
Okay, well, that's what you.
Yes. So as far as the authority, I want to say that because you don't speak really spiritual side, but you have it right. Because the woman did what the woman did. God said, "Well, hey." At first, y'all was.
And what do you mean? I mean, what are you talking about specifically? So that they understand, because you said that, you got to explain.
I feel like
they don't have they're not here when we have conversations. We know what we're talking about. But.
Okay, so as far as Adam and Eve, when she, took from the tree that was not supposed to be eaten from, she had all the other trees to eat from, but she chose this tree that she was not supposed to. She was no longer in charge. God said, because of this, you will now have to look towards the man to get to me. But then as far as the man, God has authority over man. So to understand what your role is and to have authority over a woman, I do believe that having that connection with God for a man is very necessary.
Yes.
Because then we agree that if the creator, I want to say, because I believe in what I believe, if the creator has authority over you, wouldn't you want to fall in line to get that protection from the person that has authority over you? And I believe that with this whole gynocracy and the war that I see playing out, I want to say that the focus, I have never seen it pointed towards, all right, let's just get everybody together and move, right? Is that what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, but, so you mentioned that, they don't want to fall in authority under the man. I mean, but who do you believe they fall under authority of if they don't fall under the man? I mean, is it okay? I would say they fall under the authority of themselves to some degree in regards to men to women, black men to black women, but overall, I would agree with the captives. Yes.
Yes, because even if you are having yourself as having the authority, you're still in captive because you do not know how to get yourself into that freedom. To be honest with you, we don't know how to get there. There's somebody who's supposed to lead us there.
And it's so crazy because black women think they're free. Yes, they think they're free. They think they are free because they don't understand that discipline is the true freedom. And how I see that discipline is the true freedom, because discipline gives you the ability to do whatever you want. Whatever you want to do, you can do through discipline. Just no different than learning how to drive a race car. You have to discipline yourself to learning what a race car makeup is, how fast it goes, what the engine does, what to do when it goes out. You have to practice these things over and over again. You have to learn the matrix of how that car works. But you have to discipline yourself to know these things. But once you discipline yourself, you can be the best race car driver ever. But it all revolves around discipline. They think that discipline is the opposition of freedom, when it's actually how you make yourself free.
Okay, so I tell this to all the children that ever taken care of, talked to, even anybody really, as far as when they're like, oh, well, I want to do this and I want that. I'm just like, number one, or even adults, you know, God gives us what we need. Our creator. Our creator gives us what we need. They're not going to give you more than you can do, right? Sometimes you're supposed to be able to be obedient and disciplined with what you have, and then you'll get more. But you have to stay up with that discipline, because once you don't, then pretty much you're losing out on what you was given it for. And I think with women, they're more like, so, oh, I'm free, but it's like, you're fake free. You know, like, you don't understand true freedom because you will not be disciplined to get there. So you have this fake reality that you're free, but in all reality, no, you're not. You're still under these people that never saw you to be free. And I'm talking to about black women and black men. Pretty much.
ADOS is African descendants of slaves. American descendants of slaves.
Descendants of slaves.
Yeah, that's what ADOS is. We haven't talked about that before, but
I've heard it.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we have.
See, okay, and then another thing too is that's why I don't claim anything, because at the end of the day, like, that's not what I am. That's not what I am. I'm not gonna. That's what they're labeling me as. That's what my captives are labeling me as.
Well, no. I mean, the whole notion of African or American descendants of slaves actually came collectively from black people, because we wanted to separate ourselves from Africans and other people in the world who don't share what Black Americans have been through. So we created our own section of who we are. We didn't want to be called
African American.
Yeah, you know, we didn't want to be defined as, you know, well, those group of people who actually came up with the terminology, they didn't want to be no longer defined as grouped in with all black people, because we are very different. We're very different than Africans. You know, we're very different from, you know, people that there are people, black people that grew up in China that are there now. We're very different than any other black people in this world. So I think it's appropriate for us to give ourselves our own title instead of the world giving us a title. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I guess. So, crazy story, Park Hill, many years ago. Yeah. Like, there was a huge fight. Huge fight. It was the craziest part about it. It was like the Africans versus the African Americans. Yo, craziest. Yo, me and Umi was out there. And it was like large, you know, crowd. Yeah. And they started just running after each other, throwing like bottles, sticks, whatever. Yo, the cops were around the corner, but they did nothing. Everybody. No, they did nothing for like 5 good minutes. Okay, I'm sure. And my grandmother's like, the cops are right there. What are they doing? All this other stuff. But that's where I was just like, that is the craziest thing, because why are they fighting each other instead of, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, y'all gonna go.
This in New York City?
Yeah. Staten Island. Yeah. It was crazy. It was just crazy, and I didn't understand it. Like, I'm just like, you know, just because one is African or one is African American or ADOS, like, it's just like, you're really no different, because they look at you the same. They put you in the same category at the end of the day. Right. You know, regardless if what I claim to be or not, like, I'm put in the same category as a lot of categories. Well,
that kind of goes against what we discussed earlier with the whole who gets to define you. Remember, we were talking about how the space is being defined under a specific banner by the society, when it should be black men who are defining this space. Because for instance, like, MGTOW had a huge blow up, like in probably like 4 years ago, something like that. That's men going their own way. You're probably not too familiar with that, but that's another offshoot of the manosphere itself. But they got to get on CNN, and they were kind of demonized a little bit by the society. That's where the whole incel thing came up. That's actually, I think that, and then the incel thing became popularized right after that, because that's what the society started to define most of the MGTOWs as, is nothing but incels, and they call them neckbeard guys. Okay. That's where that came from. But they pushed back and they said, no, you don't get to define us. You don't get to tell us who we are. We're very different in our makeup. Even though we stand under the same message that we have, we are very different people, and I think that's a token that black men should take. We can stand separately, but also stand together. We can stand side by side, but we can stand as a group together. And I think that should be an emphasis that is pushed here in this black manosphere, is that we are different. We are made to be different, but at the same time, don't let the difference be the separation of what we stand for. Let it be us fighting a narrative that we don't support.
Exactly.
Rather than us having disagreements with each other about who said this, and who's this way, and is this person gay? Is this person a lesbian, and all this crazy stuff. That none of that stuff necessarily matters, because as long as that person is on your team fighting the same fight and is spearheading any message that we want to be pushed forward, that's my brother. That's my sister. That's the way I look at it. That's the person. I always said the only separation that I make between anybody and myself is that the only separation I have is that if you not supporting what I support, we not the same. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be on board with that I like bonsai. You need to like bonsai too. Or, you need to be on board with guns because I like guns too. No. What I'm saying is that what struggles that we face together, no matter who you are, what struggles that we face together, if we both recognize that this is a problem and we're not with that, and we are going to work towards or against that, or towards a solution or against that happening to us, then we're on the same team. We're the same people, because we're going in the same direction. I don't care what color you are, where you came from. I don't care about none of that stuff. Of course, I do acknowledge my ADOS people, but at the same time, if you're over here talking about, you worship the devil, and I don't know, you like to do all this crazy stuff, I don't know if we on the same team, even though we ADOS. So I understand where you're coming from, that, it's society that defines you, but you shouldn't stand for that banner, what society defines you as. But what I'm saying is that we need to pay more attention that just because someone looks like us doesn't mean they are us. So I agree with you,
Yeah, because I don't claim nothing. God said we're either one or two things. The creator. Mm-hmm. Can you like edit that?
No,
I can't. No, edit it.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Oh goodness.
It's the same.
We'll edit that other part.
Geez.
We'll talk later. But the authority that has power over man, mm-hmm. I want to say, like, see, that's why I'm just like, no, can we just go higher? Like, the authority that has power over you that tells you that you are one or two things. Mm-hmm. The creator says that you are a wheat or you are a weed. Mm-hmm. You are either the creator's creation, mm-hmm. or you are his people. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I just think, like trying to, I don't know, I feel like that's where I'm at with you.
And that's fine.
We
never, but I joke and I say all the time, oh yeah, my Puerto Rican, this and that. But realistically, whatever, you be giggling all day. Get out of here. but when it comes down to it, that's not what I see you as. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then it just
you know exactly who I see you as, and there's no title that I can give you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what unspoken communication is all about.
True.
So we understand.
But as far as pushing the message, letting people know that at the end of the day, why are we?
Well, because of the authority that people think they have. And what authority they believe they're under.
Ooh.
Remember? That's where it comes from.
Okay, so then the whole, why do we allow a person, place, place,
thing,
have authority over you?
Yeah.
And, it would be fear. It should be fear. But I want to say it's because of the things that they want. Mm-hmm. Because if you think about it, like you said, women don't want to really work. Mm-hmm. That's why they're just okay saying, hey, I'll take this type of freedom other than working hard for the real thing.
Yeah. And what do you mean by work? Like as in get a job? Or
no, I mean like as work as far as like
to fix their problems?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
To obtain a man who is worth something so they don't have to complain and act all the victim.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, I chose wrong. Yeah. That's a reflection of me.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and work on me.
Yeah.
So the next reflection I have is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand either. And I'm still stuck on the part of that they actually think they're free. They assume that the freedom to do whatever you want and to have no guidance is actually freedom. Just because you're free to do what you want, don't mean you're free. There are plenty of people who are in jail who are free to walk around their cell all day long. They're free to sleep all day. They're free to eat their little snacks that they have. They're free to do whatever they want within that cell. But can we really call them free?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I view Black women, that you're still in the system. You were never brought here to be free. So why all of a sudden now you think that the civil rights movement happened and women's suffrage and this and that happened, that you're free? You think the system's going to let you go that quick? And once again, just like we discussed, your men were made an example of, and that puts you in a disposition that you need to side with the collective, which was the master, and you thought that you can get your freedom through them, but you think that your master is going to make you free. Ever? Your man will make you free though, because your man wants to be free just like you. So why wouldn't you want to side with the person who would be likely to aid in your freedom, rather than what you're doing right now, which is siding with the overall community, the overall system that never intended for you to be free in the first place? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I had my little vent, all that.
Yeah.
Venting. I really should say complaining, because I have said it more than once.
Yeah.
And that's just with conversations that I had with other people. And it's just silly as far as thinking that they're free, even though they're still asking for a handout, mm-hmm. From, like you said, an entity that had no intentions of making you free.
Yeah.
But yet, even if he was to bear a Black son, he will not be free regardless.
Yeah.
So very sad.
and that's real. That's a real point that you bring up. They are so quick to say, I don't need a man, or, I want this type of man or that type of man. But yet and still, they're not bringing their own children up to be the type of man that they want in their own lives. Isn't that crazy? That they don't want to even produce or even attempt to produce a successful male that represents somebody who can have the leadership that they're looking for. It's widely known in this space, in this sector of the Black manosphere, that boys are reading at way low levels than what they're supposed to be at all levels of school. Who's in charge of that? Who's making that happen? The system, we already know, doesn't want you to win in the first place. It was never built or designed for you to win. But you're helping that. You're aiding that. You're aiding that in your so-called freedom to do whatever you want.
But that is the same reason why women are not supposed to be in the authority place.
Exactly.
Because they don't. They should not have to worry about it. Number one, they should be worrying about taking care of
nurturing
your children, as far as the structure from the children getting their education. That will come from the father.
I do.
And with the woman removing that, then she's not worried about education.
But hold on, their argument would be, well, their father left. How would you address something like that? If you were saying what you just said to a woman, and her response was,
I have many options.
I want to hear a couple. I've never asked you this, so.
If their father left, their father left.
Yeah. What would you say to him?
Well, it depends on who it is.
It doesn't matter.
Not everybody gets the same answer. But as far as to someone close to me, being real, a friend, because friends don't lie to each other.
Yeah.
You're gonna be honest, straight up. If I like her.
Whatever.
It would be pretty much, well, you're still here, so you have to take on that role, but at the same time, know your place.
I would say a better answer would be, it's still your responsibility to find your child a proper male role model.
True.
It's still, because even though that father left, which for whatever reason, we don't know why. Maybe he had a hit on his head and he wanted to protect his family, so he distanced himself away from his family. I don't know. Maybe he was just a complete deadbeat who didn't want to have anything to do with his child and his family. Who knows? Whatever the case is, now the responsibility falls on you. This is one thing that I always preach about, how we should address the issues of the Black community. We have for a long time pointed to the oppressor as being the problem. That's the oppressor, the problem. That person's problem. The reason why I'm like this is because of the oppressor, blah, blah, blah. At some point, we have to take accountability for ourselves, because we pointing at the oppressor and saying that that's the problem is not fixing anything. Granted, it helps us identify what the problem is, and then we can have the opportunity to fix it. But we can't keep pointing at the oppressor looking for a solution. Now, why I bring that up is because this works in tandem with how I view women who have a fatherless child. Pretty much, it's still your responsibility, even though the circumstances are not favorable, for you to find a suitable male to be the father of that child, or a male role model for that child. It's still your responsibility. You can't keep pointing at that baby daddy and saying, oh, well, he's not this, he's not that, he's not that. If you yourself know better that child is supposed to have a good role model, it's your job to get him that. Why is it that you know that you're supposed to take him to school? Why is it that you know that child needs to be fed? Why is it that you know all these things that are required of a child to grow up properly, you give them? But when it comes to a proper male role model, you say, oh, well, I'm going to blame that on somebody else. Scapegoat.
And then you think about it, it's really self that they have to work on to recognize who a good male role model would be.
Exactly. They wouldn't probably be in that situation in the first place.
Because everything is self-love and how you respect yourself.
Because that is a reflection of you, like you said earlier.
It all is.
That father leaving is a reflection of you because you chose him.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You chose somebody who would walk away from a child that you gave him.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And that's why I put this in the scope of authority, because the reason why women end up in these circumstances like this is because they were put in a position of authority, but they're not supposed to be because they don't use it correctly.
From their captors. Mm-hmm. Their captors put them in authority. They like it, so they think they have freedom.
Yeah, which they
really don't. Because I kind of feel like women really do want a man.
They do.
You know, and I kind of feel like if the men was like to go over here, the woman would be like,
yeah, they would,
like, you know, follow.
And they do.
So, I don't know.
I mean, but that goes back to what I was saying. You know, the whole idea that these women think that they're free is the craziest thing to me. They think that being the queen of the dunghill is freedom.
Queen means whore.
I'm just saying.
So whore of the what? And then I think there should be more real relationships or more. See, society is so crazy because there's a lot of influence at the moment.
We need to get away from that.
Get away from it. Yeah. And then see, with this COVID and everything, it just.
I mean, I made videos on that. Remember?
Yes, you did.
I did, and I gave pretty much clear instruction on what you should be doing, man and woman, during this time.
You gave me my own instructions.
I did.
So. Women thinking that they're free just because. I think that's why I'm just like, if you just tell black women that, why do you keep these so thin here? Mm-hmm. The Black Lives Matter movement. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, they get into these feelings and people say it, and it's just like, well, you're selling crack to another black man, right? Yeah. And it's just like, you can cut that out. I saw your face with it. Yeah. Or even with the Black Lives Matter, and it's like, oh, Black Lives Matter, but you got your baby daddy on child support. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just like you're pointing your finger at your captives, like, this is your fault, but then you're still asking them for money depending on them.
You know, I'll put it like this. I side with the recognition that there is something wrong with black people in a relationship in this country. I definitely side with that. We have a poor relationship. Well, this country has a poor relationship with us. It's not us who have the poor relationship with this country. So I side with that. But I can't on one hand acknowledge the reality on that part and then completely ignore that we are self-destructive as well.
Oh, no. That's what I'm saying.
And that's what I'm saying. I agree with you.
Yeah. You know, we keep saying, this is your fault, help me. Mm-hmm. When do you ever do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, if this is your fault, I'm going to be like, yo, you step away.
Exactly.
Let me go ahead and get the right guidance.
Yeah.
When they supposedly freed the slaves or whatnot, you know, I want to say the men had their own idea of how to get,
of course,
completely free from the system, because they knew this is something fishy. Mm-hmm. They just let us go, like, you know what I mean? So as far as that, I don't think that the men really was going to be like, okay, they let us go, but we're still going to ask them for help.
Yeah.
No, they was going to make it by themselves.
Exactly.
But the women did not follow, and they made it so that it would be harder on the men.
And then the messed up thing is, the women seen Jim Crow, which was enacted as soon as the slaves were free, and they seen the sharecropping policies, which pretty much crippled the black man's ability to make money off of what he had been doing for years. You know, they seen that. But yet and still you want to run to your oppressor to ask for help?
Because they didn't want it to them. They didn't want it to happen to them. They let go of their men.
I get it. But, you know, the whole scope of this thing is authority. What happens when you're outside of authority? You don't deserve protection. You don't preserve provision. You don't deserve all these things that you expect from a man when you won't even follow the authority. You only get those things when you're under the authority of a man. So to assume that some man owes you something or owes you some type of lifestyle when you don't even have the predisposition to fall under a man's authority, you're crazy. Mm-hmm. You're crazy. You're crazy. That's the way I see it.
No, I agree. But I was raised differently. Like, I couldn't ask for nothing if my room wasn't clean, if I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. So I think that was a nice little heads up of making sure that before I ask you, you know, it's all nice and pretty.
Yeah.
You can't ask for anything in a dirty house.
Exactly. And you already know. I'm gonna look at you crazy.
Exactly.
I'm like, I don't know about that. There.
We never had that issue.
No, we don't.
I'm not spoiled, but the things that I want, and when I do ask for it, I'm just like, I know I'm gonna get a yes because I handle my stuff. Yeah. And then when I get a no, I'm just like, dang, what can I do better?
And I tell you, exactly why. If I tell you no, I tell you, I'll be like, no. And I try to make sense of it. I don't be like, no, and then go sit down somewhere. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, because, you know, I was thinking about next week will probably be a better time because it'll be a better weather, you know, or something like that. I give you a legitimate reason of why, but most times I don't even tell you no like that. Like,
so pretty much we're trying to tell the women that why are you asking for help from people that never had intentions of giving you freedom?
Yeah. And then also, why are you expecting something of your man when you don't even want to submit to them under their authority? Same thing.
Yeah, you have to work for what you want.
Yeah, you have to show that you want to be covered. You want to be provided for by submitting to the authority.
Of acting like you were worthy of being protected of.
Yep. No man wants to protect a woman who is supporting his captor.
Exactly, because where does that make sense?
I've been trying to figure it out for years, I swear.
Where does that make sense? That's why I be looking at, and I'll be like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I never, I never, and I could have inside story, but and that's why it's just like, well, it's funny because I never called the cops on nobody, right? Never, even though they deserved it. Like, I was just like, I would never do that because that's just more headache, and I feel like karma and everything is, and look what happened. But then it was just like, because I didn't do that, the littlest thing that I did, I got caught, and I got persecuted. Like,
well,
take that out.
Well, it's all, I believe, to teach you something.
Of course.
And I think is that what you should have learned from that circumstance is that you shouldn't submit to just any man.
Oh, definitely.
Yep. That's what it boils down to. And that is a consequence of the society, and that is a consequence of your foremothers and forefathers, because they should have passed down knowledge that would have prevented you from doing that. And the reason why I say that is because the knowledge is what protects you. The knowledge is what protects you from inevitably seeing things. You know what I mean? Like if I tell you, hey, don't go in this room because I just sprayed some noxious gas. I just gave you knowledge passed down to you about what is already there that I know is a problem. Now, if you choose to do that or not, that's on you. But the knowledge was given to you. Now, if you run into another person who you say, hey, I was told that there's noxious gas in there. I haven't been in there. And they're just like, nah, whatever. Then you start to get a degrading of the knowledge that's passed down. It's kind of like the telephone game. That's what happened. That's what happened with our community. It was a really bad telephone game, and the knowledge wasn't passed down correctly. So now women are left to fend for themselves a lot of times, and men are left to fend to themselves because you didn't have the proper things that you needed in order to discern what type of men were appropriate or not. Nobody taught you that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And nobody taught me how to discern what is a proper woman or not. That's what I'm talking to. I'm not talking to about, how you grew up in your structure and stuff like that, but I'm talking about the discernment tools that are necessary in order to vet these people so that you don't end up in picking the wrong man.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. But after you learn that lesson, you shouldn't repeat it. Because now you know.
And then if you keep repeating it,
then that's on you.
That's on you.
Yeah. Because you were given the knowledge by consequence.
And then you think about it, I always thought about it. I have always been the constant in my life. Everybody else is the variable. So
I would hope so.
Well, no, but I always looked at it like that. I'm just like, well, if I can't, but then I don't know, because society don't like me. Yeah.
Me neither.
So then that was constant. So then I always thought, like, what was wrong with me? What was wrong with
Nothing's
me?
wrong.
And then I realized there was nothing wrong with me. It was society. The fact that I was able to, I don't know.
Well, that's the reason why I said earlier, I think that you have a higher consciousness than a lot of women, because you don't think in a collective mind state. You know what I'm saying? You don't think like, well, that's a woman, I'm a woman, we're the same. You don't think like that.
No.
And it takes a higher consciousness in order to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah, that conversation we had. Like, I'm just like, because you only hear one or two things. Yeah. And then when he was just like, yeah, you're this. And I was just like, yeah. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because I've never been able to, and that's why I don't claim things either. Because I'm just like, just because you're this doesn't mean I have to be that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's okay that I'm not that.
Yeah, not every Puerto Rican's the same.
Yeah, exactly. Not any Puerto Ricans can cook. Like, I don't. But I cook some plantains.
Yeah.
Plátanos, yeah.
Some plátano.
The totones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But mofongo, I don't do. I like it though. So yeah, I do understand that. But it's fine that we're all different. It's just that even though we're still different, we still have the same mother effing captive.
We still have the same goal to accomplish. But
I don't get it.
I get it. I know what's going on. I know what's going on. What the solution is.
So I feel like I'm just one of the person. I'm just like, okay, I got this. Like, I understand, and I'm just like, okay, I want to keep moving on. I'm just like, if they get left behind, they get left behind.
And that's what it's coming to. I mean, because we are entering a high phase of information technology. Something happens in California, everybody knows it. By tomorrow, today, something happened in California. Everybody knows it by tomorrow. The whole world knows it. So for you to be able to make an excuse, I can't see it. In regards to what your direction should be. We should be on one accord due to the sheer numbers of truth that's being told. You can't ignore this stuff anymore. It's all in your face everywhere you go. You can't ignore the truth anymore. So at this point, if you don't understand and you can't get it, I don't know what to tell you, man.
And then, like I said, for me, I don't want to say that I like speaking from a spiritual side. Mm-hmm. The truth is, the authority over man will give you protection. Mm-hmm. Okay? So the man needs to align up with that authority.
Right.
So that he can be protected.
Yep.
And then the women need to understand that they need to align up with the man who has the right authority. Mm-hmm. So they are protected as well.
Yep. Because it's a trickle-down effect.
We need protection. And if you go to the captives, they're not going to be able to protect you because that's not where your authority.
Oh, they're gonna give you false protection. That's just like that chick, that black chick with that football player. I think you've seen it before. Like he damn near killed her. He beat her.
The white boy.
Yeah, the football player, and then he was like laughing about it and stuff like that. That's so sad to see. Anybody go through that. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't want to say what did you expect, because not every white dude is, like that. But football players, for one, don't have a good track record of having good relationships. For two, he has a lot of money, so he's probably going to feel like he's invincible. For 3, he probably views you as a token due to the fact that he's a very paid football player. There's like a lot of things that are setting up to say that you probably ain't gonna get treated right. You know what I mean? Once you, that's what I'm saying. Like, the truth is all around you, and I'm not necessarily, once again, saying that just because something lines up that it's always going to happen, but there's a high likelihood that certain outcomes are going to come about this. You know what I'm saying? So why even plant the seed if you don't plan on growing a tree? That's my thing again.
That's fair. I just want to see gotta keep moving though.
Yeah, turn to your men. Turn to your men.
But then turn to the right men though.
I get that. No. You're right. Turn to the right man. But the thing is, you have to turn to your man first before you even find the right man amongst your men.
Oh yeah, sure. That's good.
Get what I'm saying?
That's good. Well then, see, not to say that skip the man, but really, if you are a woman, then you definitely need to turn to
some authority. Other than your captain.
Or the creator. Exactly. Just understand that. Like, even if you don't believe in a type of higher power or whatnot, just know that where you at now, what you have to do now, that should not be accepted from you. Mm-hmm. Like, there's different things.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's been 40 minutes. You want to talk some more?
I do.
Okay, we can talk some more. Go ahead. What else you got to say?
I want to clarify what I was trying to say. I feel like I have notes and then I don't be using my notes.
It's supposed to be organic. I don't have any notes.
Yeah, but because I like to say on one thing. Mm-hmm. But we were talking about the captives. There's one more thing we wanted to talk about.
What was that?
I'm looking at my notes.
I think it was I don't know. We talked about the captor. We talked about the authority. We talked about our community. I think the only thing that we were going to discuss that we talked about anyways was how we all need to be on one accord. We talked about that too. Yeah.
Or how to recognize who's for you really, or who's been set. Oh, that's kind of like your little matrix.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've done that one.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that because I was like, oh, like,
simping for simps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's real. As far as where we started from to where we're at now to where we need to go. Mm-hmm. I feel like we have a long way to go, and that's because we're not a collective.
Yes.
Like I was trying to say, like, not that I'm like, oh, let's leave them behind, but let's just get on one accord as far as let us be united because of one thing.
Yeah.
And then we can work on fixing the other things along the way. But we honestly need to get away from, the system.
Yeah, we do.
So we can pretty much heal and get to where we need to go, because you can't heal in a crack house. You can't stop doing crack if you're in a crack house.
Yeah. That's really easier said than done, because I definitely understand, because we don't have a land. We're probably one of the only people in the world who don't have a land. The Native Americans have a land, the Mexicans have a land, the Asians have a land, even the white people have a land. They can trace their lineage back hundreds of years. We're the only people that can't do that. Mm-hmm. That's why I say we're very unique in this world. I would say maybe the Jews are probably one of the people who can't trace their lineage back certain things because of the stuff that happened in Germany. But other than that, there's really no other people that compare to us. We don't have a country. We don't have a country. We can't say where we came from in Africa. We can't say, we do this ancestry test, but that stuff's not accurate. It's not accurate. It gives you a roundabout park of some of your DNA. Like, that don't tell you where you're from. Yeah. Everybody else knows exactly what they're from. They have a history. They have a land. So that's one thing that we need to I think that's one goal that we need to collectively work on. We need to find our own land. We need to take our people there.
So then, you know what I'm going to say?
Go ahead.
On the spiritual side, I can totally agree with that as far as not knowing where I belong and where am I accepted. But the Creator did say that we came from one place. It's not a land, it's a place. That we came from heaven, that we originated there, and we were sent here. So I'm not too caught up on where exactly my ancestors are or coming from or whatnot, because I feel like my identity is right there. Like, I'm a spiritual Israelite. And I am from heaven, and that's my homeland. And I feel it, you know what I mean? But I don't want nothing. I feel like when we distract ourselves from like what's going on in society, we need to have a higher understanding of where we actually really need to
I definitely agree with you. Although at the same time, once again, like I said, you know, we need to get away. We need to get away. We need to get away from this structure that is constantly, like you said, we can't turn to the captors and say, help us. So we need to turn to ourselves. And how do we turn to ourselves? We create our own we create our own space, whether that be tangible or intangible.
So then you're saying that we have to turn to ourselves, but that's not the case.
No. I'm talking about we have to turn to ourselves and collectively move.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
But then I would say we all collectively have to turn to God.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But to the right understanding of God.
Yes.
And what God actually meant.
But that's what the collectivity that I'm talking about is. We have to collectively change our focus.
Exactly.
You know?
But then there's a place. You know, and then I don't know. Maybe we should have just ended it there.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, you say you had more to say, so that's where we at. That's where we at. It's all good.
I don't even want this video to go out, please.
Oh, it's going to go out.
Oh, no. We're signing a contract right now. Right here.
I'm not signing nothing. But anyways.
No, I'm not done.
Yes, we're done.
No, I just want to vent now.
No. You can vent on your own channel. You got a channel? You got a channel? But anyways.
I don't know.
You got some closing statements.
My closing statement would be see,
just give me something. God is good. All right.
No. Elohim. I want to say something, but it's just like I don't know what to say to them.
I mean, that's fine. I don't have any closing statements either, so you know. I said everything I needed to say. I mean, this is going to be a long video, so
really long video.
We probably should have did a live stream. Huh?
We could do it still.
No, it's too late now. It's 47 minutes in. Yeah, you see that number?
But I want to say something else. I'm just like, maybe I should just.
Well, we can do another video. Probably tomorrow. You can get your thoughts together. We can probably just do it on a live stream, maybe. You know, if you think that it's going to be a good topic or whatever, you know. And we'll go from there.
I just want to say, I hope that we're not nitpicking right now. I feel like we should not be nitpicking on or putting each other in different categories as far as who's what and that. Everybody, if they think that's what you are, grab them and then get them out, and then let's go ahead and start putting them in their different sections. That's all. That's how I look at it. Just because I'm done with it. I'm really sick of the ignorance. I'm tired of listening to people that just don't make no sense. There's only one person other than you that I really listen to on YouTube about stuff like this, and then when you do listen to who you listen to, I hear here and there, but I'm sick of it.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. That's why I don't listen to a bunch of people, and then all like he says, she said.
Yeah, the point blank is we're all a slave, house or fields.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, let's go.
Yeah, let's get up out of here. Let's not be slaves together.
Exactly. Let me stop having my hand out to somebody who doesn't even give me that.
Yeah. But anyways, I guess that's going to be the end of the video. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, I know this is a long video and it is not a live stream. Jeez, we should have did this on a live stream. But anyways, this has been the Wolf and Beta Close. Like, comment, and share. Catch me on Facebook. I'm gonna try to upload this one to Facebook, possibly. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But until next time, may you have a good day.
Peace be with you.
And peace be with you.
Oh, and peace be with you. Was I want to say something else?
No, you're good.